All right. Hello, everyone. I hope you are having a beautiful day. Welcome to my Lunch and Learn, where each and every week I explore topics to help you elevate your mindset and be at your best and radically expand your life and business. And today I am talking about money and how to find your money multiplier. So, if you're the kind of person that cringes and just gets that feeling in the pit of your stomach when you hear the topic of money or finances come up, and you'd like to look at money with more clarity, with more openness, with a sense of optimism, stay tuned because that is exactly what we're talking about today. So, before we dive in, I just want to mention that tomorrow evening on Thursday, March 10th from 7 to 9 Eastern, we are hosting a special closed door masterclass, and it's called The Ultimate Breakthrough. And I'm going to be sharing a 30-day science-based fast track solution to eliminate roadblocks standing in your way of success, whether that's financial, whether that's career, relationships, in your family, whatever it is that's going on in your life. It is amazing. So if we'll make sure to add a registration link in the chat, and you can feel free to DM me or my team if you want to get registered as well. So the Ultimate Breakthrough is tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern. Oh, phone is on, and we've run it before and it was incredible. We had fantastic feedback, so that is why we're bringing it back. So hello, Kelsey from Toronto. Welcome everyone else as well. So I want to know where you are coming in from. And I do thank you for being here. I so appreciate you. Let me know where you're coming in from. If you're tuning in by replay, type in replay in the chat. And if this is your very first time, type in first time in the chat. So we're talking about money today, and I know we've had some questions come in throughout the week. So I am going to do my best to answer them in the topic that I have planned today. But if you do have any other questions that come up as we keep going, I want you to just pop them in the chat, and I'll do my best to answer them as I go along. And if not, I will make sure to answer them at the very end. I know some of you know me, some of you don't. I'm Larissa McCouch, Master Results Coach and CEO of Abundance Academy, where we help high-achieving women radically expand their life and bridge the gap between the dreams they have and the actions they take, so they can truly, unapologetically have a life and business they want and love. Now, I've been doing a lot of thinking lately. Hello, Sharon. Lovely to see you. I hope it's wonderfully sunny where you're out there in California. So it is foggy out today, or gray out here in Toronto. So I've been doing a lot of thinking about money lately. Now, growing up, I always had money, and we weren't what many would call wealthy. We did activities. I had extracurricular activities I did. We lived in a nice enough house. We got to travel periodically. My parents each had a car, and I never had to worry about where things like food were coming from, where clothes were coming from. We never had fancy stuff, but we always had everything we need. My parents could always meet the basic necessities of life, and I thought that was fine. And even though all my needs were met, there was still so much scarcity in it. Now, I lived at home while I went to school. Okay, I didn't even right through at university, I didn't have a lot of expenses. In high school, I didn't have any expenses really. Yet I really felt compelled to work. And I felt like I had to work as much as I could. I know even in high school, okay, my university was covered, my education was paid for, but in high school, I was working 3 jobs. I took part in 2 to 4 bands at a time, or extracurricular activities. I would be fundraising for band and for my Ukrainian classes so we could go to Europe. I was a member of a Ukrainian dance company that rehearsed twice a week, and we performed quite a bit in our community. And I also helped care for my younger brothers. My mom had kids that were much younger than me, so I helped take care of the boys. And so my mentality was to work, save. And it was just this whole mentality that I had to save everything I earned, because I wasn't allowed to spend it, or I would feel so guilty buying anything, especially if it wasn't on sale. I would hear things like money doesn't grow on trees, or money's hard to come by. It's hard to earn and easy to spend. You've got to save your money. So let me know if you can relate to any of this. Let me know if you can relate. Tell me in the chat. So my family was fairly open about finances. So I would actually see money in the bank accounts. I read the financial statements, and I read the investment statements. So it's like there was money and it was fine. It was good. Yet there would always be this constant complaint about how expensive things were and having to save money just in case. And when I look back at it, I think they legitimately did the best they could with the knowledge that they had. My parents and my grandmother, those are my primary influences in the context of money. However, I had this scarcity mentality because that's what they were taught. And while I grew up with this scarcity mentality, thinking I had to work my fingers to the bone, I also realized I had a huge opportunity for abundance. And money was actually really easy for me to come by. And I only realized this just recently within the last couple of years. Money was always there for me. And in many cases, it was more than I expected. And it was so much easier to come by. I remember, I think it must have been like, I was still in grade school, and I pulled out a winter parka from our basement. And I remember just checking the pockets. I wasn't sure why, but I checked the pockets, and then I found a $50 bill, and then I found a $100 bill. And like, what kid in grade school has a $50 and $100 bill in a winter jacket from the year before? And money was always coming to me. I would be given money, and it would just appear in my world easier than I ever expected. The harder I worked, the harder it was to come by, right? The things I worked really hard at, I didn't earn a lot of money at. However, when I just did what I wanted to do, when I followed my heart, something would always show up, and I never questioned it. And this is something that was a big lesson for me because it really flipped everything on its head. The less I work hard and the more I follow my heart, the more I align with my gifts, the more I align with my talents, the better it is. Now, why am I sharing all this with you? Because I know that you've had your own relationships with money. And even with some of you, I've actually done breakthroughs with money. I've done money breakthroughs with several clients to help them work through some of their own money blocks, just like I had. Now, you may have had some ups and downs in your world, in the relationship you've had with money. You may not even realize the opportunities you have yet, but I know that as soon as you get your massive breakthrough, you will start to see the blessings in your life because they are there. All you need to do is learn some new perspectives on how money works and how you can work with money. So, I want you to ask yourself, do you want to have a better relationship with money? And do you want to find money in ways you didn't think was possible or you didn't even know you were able to? Would you like to hear yourself saying thank you for the money and the opportunities that do come your way because they keep coming your way and they keep coming your way and they keep coming your way? And are you ready to see yourself actually having fun with money, feeling good about money and the opportunities that it can bring while feeling truly authentic with yourself along the way? Let me know if that's appealing to you. Let me know if that is of interest to you, because that sounds really, really good to me. That's exactly what we're touching on today. And money is such a huge topic. So I'm just going to scratch the surface because in our programs, we study this topic of money in many different ways over the course of several months, because it's certainly something that should be taught in school. However, it really never is. Beyond some basic, simple budgeting, perhaps in a high school math class, we're not taught about money. We're not taught about what it is and how it works. Money itself is a current medium of exchange. It is how we trade in the current world that we live in. Right now, money is in the form of coins, banknotes, and other substances like that. Now, money, when you look at it from a higher perspective, Money is a symbol. And when you look at it even deeper, it's an energy. Money is a symbol and it's used for trade, and it's actually an energy. Money can flow to you and through you. And there is an ebb and flow. When you really get into the flow of money, it can be a beautiful thing. However, when you get into the scarcity mentality, it feels like you're choked off. You want to free yourself and open yourself up. Before money existed, people would trade goods and services with one another. And it really didn't matter what it was, because if the user didn't need it, it wasn't valuable to that person. Think of the hunters and gatherers. If you were a hunter and gatherer, a weapon to hunt would be a very valuable possession. And in exchange, you could offer that person leather or fur or meat or food. So that would be a valuable exchange. However, if you were a hunter-gatherer that lived out in nature and someone brought you a paintbrush or a canvas to paint with, and you didn't know what to do with it or how to use it, or you didn't appreciate art, that would not be a valuable exchange. You want the exchange to be valuable. And that's how things worked back in the day, is people that had needs, right? People that had needs for one another's services or for their products, they would trade. And that's really how this all came about, because not everyone needed the same things, and so money became a form of currency in order to exchange things with one another. Einstein said, everything is energy, that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of that which you desire, and you can't help but get it. This is not philosophy, this is physics. My favorite quote. Money is energy. And I want you to ask yourself and really look at, what energy are you bringing to your money, to your finances, and your life? Is it an energy of scarcity or an energy of abundance? Are you focused on what is not working or on what is? Because the fact is, you can only focus on one thing at a time. You can't focus on both. You can't focus on two. You can only focus on one thing at a time. So you can choose to focus on scarcity, or you can choose to focus on abundance. And instead of saying things like, there aren't right jobs out there for me, you can say, I have 25 years of experience teaching, and this helps me serve people that come across my path even faster and better and more, in a more meaningful way. Or instead of focusing on what you don't have, focus on what you do have. So you can only focus on one thing, the good or the bad, the scarcity or the abundance, the lack or the plenty. What do you want to focus on? Okay, so focus on one thing. Make sure it is the thing that you desire, because your unconscious mind can't tell the difference between what's real and what's imagined. So you want to fill your mental real estate with what is good. Second, I want you to spend time with people that have a good outlook towards money. Who you spend time with is who you become. You are essentially the sum of the 5 people you do spend the most time with. And if you find yourself in a state of financial lack or a state of financial hurt, are you spending time with people that are complaining about money and complaining about things in their lives? Or are you spending time with people that are seeking opportunity, with people that are looking at the cup half full instead of half empty? Who are you spending time with? And sometimes it's actually a very difficult thing to do, is to cut people off or to stop spending time with people that aren't serving you. But if they're looking at life and if they're looking at the world with the cup half empty, is that going to help you? Are you going to be able to help them when they're constantly in that space? Or can you perhaps give them the space to find the rest of the cup? So really important to start spending time with people that you do want to spend time with, people that will lift you up and pull you in the direction you're headed. My third point I want to make is the principle. This is a principle from the works of Wallace D. Wattles, from The Science of Getting Rich. And he has an entire chapter about collaboration versus competition. And in successful people, they create, they don't compete. This is what he talks about. And if there is what you perceive to be competition, it's actually a very good thing because there's demand for what you're doing. So just think of it that way. If there's other people doing the same thing that you're doing, they're not in competition with you. They're a sign that there is actually a demand for what you're doing. So it's your job to start collaborating and working with people for win-win scenarios. And this is going to bring you both more of what you want. This is going to bring both of you more money. This is going to bring both of you more opportunities when you combine your energies. When it comes to this idea of collaboration versus competition, 1 + 1 is not 2, it's 11, right? If you look at my fingers close together, it looks like an 11. It's not 2, it's 11. And that's a very, very powerful way of looking at things. Fourth point, have an attitude of gratitude and practice it every day. Okay, I talk about gratitude a lot. We have a gratitude guide and it is phenomenal. I had a very different perspective on gratitude a few years ago. It was something I just randomly walked through. However, when you're looking to raise your financial frequency, if you're looking to multiply the money you are attracting in your life, you want to start being grateful for what you do have. You want to start raising your energy and your frequency for the good in your life and acknowledging it. And the more you start doing it, the more it's going to start turning you into a magnet for what you want. Because law of attraction, it's like a boomerang. It's a magnet. It gives you more of what you ask for. It gives you more of what you do. It gives you more of where you're spending your energy. And so when you start raising your financial frequency and you practice gratitude, it will just elevate you up, 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 up to a beautiful, beautiful state, to a higher level frequency. Research also shows, there's many, many different studies, but research shows that gratitude is also good for your psychological health, for your overall well-being. It's good for your physical health. So gratitude is so, so key for money and so much more. My last point today is train yourself to be a possibility thinker. And this is probably the most valuable point. If you are taking notes, I want you to write this down. If you are not taking notes, I want you to write this down. Okay. Train yourself to be a possibility thinker. Live in a possibility only zone. When you want something, there is always a way. You just may not have found it yet. If you think of the Wright brothers before they developed flight, right? The Wright brothers, they created the first airplane. And people prior to that didn't know it was possible. There were some that suspected it, but prior to that, it wasn't a mainstream way of thinking. But when they did it, other people were able to replicate it quickly. The way of flying, the method of flying had always been there. Nobody prior to them had found it in a sustainable way. And so that what you are searching for, the opportunity and potential is there. You just may not have found it yet. So it's your job to only focus on how you can. Only focus on what you want. Dismiss any other possibility. Dismiss the possibility of failure. When you're searching for money and you don't have it, ask yourself, how can I? When you're searching for opportunity and don't know where to find it, ask yourself, how can I? Keep asking, how can I? How can I? How can I? And as BS excuses, as BS reasons for why you might not be able to come your way, you just go, talk to the hand. No way. This is a positivity only zone. This is a possibility only zone. I am only focusing on how I can. I will entertain no other option. When I first started my first business, one of my first businesses, I didn't have the money and I didn't know where to find it. And in my family, we don't ask our parents for money. We just are expected to have it and do our own things with it. And so asking for money was the last thing on my list. And I ended up asking my father for money. It just felt very, very uncomfortable. And he ended up giving it to me. I did pay him back. I think it was a month after I had expected to, but I paid him back in full. And he was happy to gift it to me. Yet that was the last thing on my list and the last thing I tried in order to acquire the money for that business. Where there's a will, there's always a way. Who can you ask for the money you need for the opportunity you're seeking when in your heart of hearts, you know that this is going to be a game changer in your life? Where can you borrow the money? If you know that in your heart of hearts, there's going to be something that is a game changer for you, who can you borrow the money from, or where can you borrow the money from? Can you get a part-time job? We've had clients that have taken on an extra part-time job just to get into some of our programs. And because of that opportunity that they've taken, right? It was a little bit more challenging up front, but then the rest of their life got so much smoother and so much easier and so much more abundant as a result of what they learned with us. Okay, so do you need to get a part-time job temporarily to take another opportunity? Okay, what are you able to do? Can you partner or collaborate with someone on a project? Can you sell something? So there is always a way. When there's a will, there's always a way. But you want to train yourself to be a possibility thinker. And when you're looking for money and you want to multiply your money, you've got to get your mindset in check. And then you've got to learn and do the mechanics. And training your mind to start focusing on money is one of the best investments you'll ever make. Warren Buffett said when he was asked what the best investment he would ever make was, or he's ever made was, he's one of the world's leading traders, leading investors. And he said, the best investment I ever made is in myself, and it's in my mind. It wasn't a stock, it wasn't a business deal that he did. It's the investments he made in his mind that were able to help him achieve the great success, earn the billions of dollars that he has. And it came from a heartfelt place. So it's so important to invest in your mind so that you can project what it is that you need to the world. Be a possibility thinker and only accept that. Okay. So you truly were born to turn your dreams into reality. And there is nothing more than I'd like to see than for you to do that. So I just want to recap the points really quickly. You can only focus on one thing at a time, scarcity or abundance. Point 2, spend time with people that you do have that have a good outlook towards money. Spend time with people that do have an ability to see the cup half full. Spend time with people that are a good influence on you. Follow the science of getting rich principle of collaboration over competition. Start collaborating, stop competing. Have an attitude and a practice of gratitude. The attitude is showing up, being grateful for things. The practice is actually writing down, taking the time to be mindful of what you're grateful for, taking the time to acknowledge it and really feel it with every cell of the body. So you want to live in this state of gratitude, and you also want to practice it. Train yourself. Point number 5, train yourself to be a possibility thinker. When you want it, there is always a way. You just may not have found it yet. So only focus on how you can and dismiss every other possibility. Now, I want you to go back through this, walk away, go through these exercises one by one, because there is so much gold in each and every single one of them. And if you've tried these before and something still isn't clicking for you, you might benefit from a breakthrough. So I would love to invite you to our Ultimate Breakthrough Masterclass. It's happening tomorrow on Thursday. It is going to be a 30-day science-based fast track solution for high achievers to eliminate any roadblocks standing in the way of success. So this will help you eliminate your roadblocks standing in the way of the success you desire. We're going to look at how to pinpoint exactly where you're holding yourself back so you can access the fastest solution on the planet that will work for you. Life is not one size fits all. So you want to have good and fast changes happen, and you want them sustainable. So we're going to show you a magic tool for that. I'm going to show you how to work smarter, not harder, and position yourself for fast results that last. And I'm also going to show you a evidence-based process. I'm going to show you some very cool charts that I haven't shared publicly before. I've shared them with my client base, but I have not shared them publicly. So I am going to be sharing some very cool diagrams to put this to life. So I would love to have you join us for the Ultimate Breakthrough Masterclass tomorrow. And I'm so glad that this was very, very helpful. Okay, I've had some great comments, many thank yous. So thank you for not making excuses and spending time in gratitude. It is a game changer. I am so happy and grateful and thankful that you have joined me today. Keep making good decisions, keep raising your financial frequency, and keep stepping up into the life, into that life of abundance, into that energy of abundance that you deserve and you desire, because you can be a money multiplier. You have it in you. All you have to do is let it out. So I will see many of you tomorrow, and I will be back again next week for another Lunch and Learn. Bye for now.